Hi, I'm Robert Borton, CEO of Classical Conversations. Our most precious commodity is time. No one has ever lied on their deathbed wishing they had spent more time making money. They all wish they had spent more time creating a legacy. Our modern education system steals that legacy, steals that time from our children. That's why I'm passionate about homeschooling. That's why at Classical Conversations we want to give you more time to create that legacy, follow your passions, and glorify God. Visit classicalconversations.com for more information.
Hey y'all, welcome to Cross Politic. Hope you had a great weekend. I never need coffee on Monday because I nap on Sunday. So good. So good.
Are you
I'll need coffee on Tuesday.
Are you bragging?
No, I'm just saying I had a great Sabbath. That's all. That's all. Pastor Toby Chalk Knox, I'm the water boy. And if you haven't caught it, I actually released a press release today regarding.
Yes, you did. Yes. Everybody should go share that.
And
yes.
It's going around about
the Moscow, city of Moscow loses bigly. Loses bigly.
Yeah.
Oh man,
had some fun writing that press release.
That was good stuff. I also liked the fact that you shared a quote from one of your arresting officers after you had already the charges had been dropped.
Yeah,
he told you he would do it all again.
He'd arrest me all over again.
Yeah.
Isn't that problematic?
Yeah, I'm wondering why he still has a job.
None of the officers involved in the arrest are with the Moscow PD anymore, except for the chief.
Wait, what?
Interesting.
Is he? I don't wonder if he's a cop somewhere else.
No, he's a real estate agent.
Oh no.
So
okay.
He can't violate anybody's constitutional rights there, but
least,
you know.
man. Oh man.
Okay.
Well, did you guys know that you can sign up for a club membership, a magazine subscription, and tickets to the Ark Encounter all in one place?
One-stop shop?
Do it now.
What? That's some cross-pollination right there. Who wrote this?
I didn't.
Who?
I didn't write it. I didn't write
That is hilarious. That's Garrison. Garrison wrote that. That is hilarious. Yeah.
You have some kind of sound effect for him?
No, I don't even want to honor that right now.
FightLaughFeast.com is your one-stop shop for everything cross-politic. Here's what you should do. You should sign up for a club membership, then sign up for the Ark Encounter. That's the Fight Laugh Feast conference at the Ark Encounter for a $100 discount off your purchase, and then sign up for a magazine subscription while you're at it. And then just jump right over to Rowdy Christian Merch and buy a sweatshirt.
Yeah, facts.
We've even got our own social media platform built into our website now for our club members. Because we don't got enough social media accounts. Nobody does. Right? Once you're a club member, you get access to exclusive content like a Bible study series with me, a special series with New St. Andrews President Dr. Ben Merkel, all our backstage content, and all our conference talks with more coming very soon. There really hasn't been a better time to be a Cross-Politic Club member, so sign up today at FightLaughFeast.com. That's FightLaughFeast.com.
There's always a good time.
I got to say, if you haven't listened to David Bonson's talk from 2 years ago, you have to go listen to it. Yeah. It is I know a lot of people, David Bonson, that's a great. No, this talk, he's got some zingers in there.
Punk rock economics? Is that what?
Punk rock economics. He throws some zingers in there, and he's just right on point cultural. If I can remember, one of them he says, pornography has gotten people to do something that, what's the ministry?
Focus on the family.
Focus on the Family wasn't able to do, which is to stop having sex before marriage.
And
it's just like he just goes through some stats on there and just showing how that pornography is ruining.
Oh my goodness,
people to the point that they don't want to have sex anymore.
Wow. Right.
I mean, that's amazing.
Right.
Oh no. Yeah.
Punk rock economics is getting married, having babies, baptizing them.
Come on now,
bring them up.
So go listen that whole conference.
Speaking of someone else who makes you not want to have babies is Kamala Harris was that that's the best turn I could do. I tried. That was like a cross pollination.
No, don't you dare.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what it means, but I don't like it.
There's a cackle in there somewhere.
Oh, Canada. So, I'm just looking at my cup.
Tyre Nichols, who was the gentleman who was beat and killed by
Memphis
6 police officers, all black. Not that it matters, but apparently, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
One of them was a white guy.
Doesn't matter. And
was she running the whole show?
We don't know yet. That's the deal. We really don't know.
He was the ringleader.
anyways, this last weekend was
the first, I believe,
his funeral, his memorial.
Yeah.
And Vice President Kamala Harris was invited to speak, and this is what she had to say.
Mothers around the world, when their babies are born, pray to God when they hold that child that that body and that life will be safe for the rest of his life. Yet we have a mother and a father who mourn the life of a young man who should be here today. They have a grandson who now does not have a father. His brothers and sister will lose the love of growing old with their baby brother. And when we look at this situation, this is a family that lost their son and their brother through an act of violence at the hands and the feet of people who had been charged with keeping them safe.
First of all, she doesn't know how to use a microphone. All that feedback.
That's
loop.
what you got?
Yeah.
That's not her fault. That's not her fault.
That's a sound tech's
That's
job.
a tech. Why
I know, it's
don't,
true. It's
don't
true.
blame her for stuff that's not her fault.
Yeah,
She doesn't
fair
deserve
It could happen to you, Gabe. It could happen
it wouldn't
to
happen to
you.
me.
She's doing enough. She's doing enough bad stuff that there's enough to blame her
That's
for.
all. The microphone thing was bothering me. Okay, I had a hard time focusing.
Leave her alone.
You know, this is hard. This is a hard clip for me. When I watched it, I wasn't just minding my business, and this one popped in front. Yeah. It's hard because there's something that really happened that's bad.
Yeah,
a man lost his life, and there's a funeral that's supposed to try and honor his life.
A man made in the image of God.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And here it is that we have a vice president, who's sitting up here. Why does she even have the mic? I mean, why don't you let the people who love him?
Did she know Tyre? Was there a personal friendship there?
Like, if she wants to come and support the family and say, I saw what happened, I want to be here, I want to bring some okay, come and show up and sit there.
This is not about comforting the family.
Right. No, it's not. That's what bothers me. And even responding to it,
I mean,
it's problematic because it takes even the you know what I mean?
I'm like, okay, try to get my head around it. I'm thinking, when you lose someone, I mean, I think those who, people who tell you that, they're sorry, people who give you condolences. I mean, I think the more, I don't know, substantial, influential of a person it is,
has an impact.
I think that has an impact.
Sure.
And so I think giving it the best spin, I think they're asking, the one of the highest leaders of our land to comfort them and to speak on behalf of Tyre's life.
They didn't know Tyre.
But she's...
Okay, so Haley, we're going to skip the second clip and we're going to go right to the third clip.
Yeah.
All right? Because this is why she came.
Just get to the jump.
So I'll just close by saying this. I was, as a United States Senator, a co-author of the original George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And as Vice President of the United States, we demand that Congress pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Joe Biden will sign it.
Yeah, he'll do whatever she says.
And we should not delay, and we will not be denied. It is non-negotiable.
Oh,
that was it. What's incredible is that they're at this memorial, this funeral, and she's pumping a political act, a congressional act.
Right.
And everybody's using it for their own political means. This is why it's hard to even comment on because I know I don't like what they're doing. I think that this is, in some way, a very important kind of sacred moment that we want. This is the last time that we're all going to come together.
Remember this life.
Remember this life. And it's not going to be like this ever again. This is the last thing that we do to honor this person in this type of way. It doesn't happen for anybody else. It only happens once in a lifetime. And what we're doing is pushing congressional bills. Right? Like, I mean,
talk about opportunistic.
Well, and it's sad because in the first, at one point, Kamala Harris was talking, like the mom was crying. I mean, she was genuinely mourning and sad. And then now, like that's comfort. But here they just showed in the picture the mom clapping too for the George Floyd Act. Like that's the God they serve.
Right.
Like
it's true.
That's the God they serve is the political God.
Yeah.
And that's where they're going to get their salvation from.
Right.
There is.
That's true.
So this is
that's true. That's why it's comforting.
I get that. But there's also the side of it where you look at Emmett Till and the situation with him. His mom decides to have an open casket in a funeral. MLK's there, and it's a moment to say, "Wow, we just took a human life in a way that we shouldn't have taken a human life, and something's got to change because of the way we're doing this." Now, it wasn't about police. This was just about a straight up lynching.
Yeah,
right.
This is what they did.
Now we don't know yet what the situation is. We're here, almost like in the same way. There's something's going on behind the scenes that's not right. But I just feel like this isn't the. Okay, and so, Pastor, here's my question. If family comes to you and says, hey, we want to have a funeral for Tyre, we want you to do it, you're instructing them to have senators and people there to, honor him in this way? Or are you saying, hey, let's...
Well, if you're doing a funeral, my practice would be, a funeral is properly speaking a family service. I'm there as a pastor. I'm not running this. It's not my service.
Right.
It's not a proper church service. It's a service of the family. But as a minister of the gospel, I'm there, and I'll give counsel. Yeah. I'll give encouragement, feedback. But I think it's properly. It's a service of the family, and they're wanting to honor their father, their
so
mother.
So if they want to do it like this, like family can do whatever they want to do.
They do what they want, and I might encourage or discourage certain things because I think that's more or less actually honoring to the person. And I think, if somebody asks, we're thinking about having somebody give a political, platform speech or, present a bill for Congress to pass, I would say, I don't think I would do that at the service.
So let's say that Gabe, instead of getting arrested, the police beat and shot him, whatever, right? And they killed Gabe.
Right.
Right. And Donald Trump hears about it. He shared his tweet.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to come.
Right.
And I want to do something.
Right.
And what, you know what I mean? How's that? What does that look like? He's like, I want to come and do something because I don't like this. It is bad. Do we give him an opportunity to speak it?
Sure. I would, but I would probably, so it's Donald Trump and it's my church.
Yeah.
I would look for a way to show him honor and thank him for being there. And so I think the first thing comes to mind, you just threw this at me.
Yeah. No.
I would have him read scripture.
And then that'd be it.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Interesting.
Because that would be a way of having him be up front, honor him as former president, someone who wanted to be there, so we would recognize his presence. But also, he's got a script. And the script is read the word of God.
And go sit down.
And then sit down. And then, shake everybody's hand afterwards and say hi and whatever you want and be part of the reception like everybody else. But yeah, that's what I think something like that is my first thought.
I'm wondering, if you get a chance, and we all don't have this situation where somebody dies and nobody will know. But for Tyre's case, it's high profile death.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, man, I want as much gospel. If I get a chance to die in a high profile way that everybody wants to use it politically,
that's right.
I'm hoping that you guys are going to say, how much gospel can we
preach the hell out of that funeral?
Right. Literally. I want you guys to preach so hard, people think I'm going to be raised from the dead. You know?
But this goes back to Gabe's point. I think it's a really good point. They did preach their gospel.
Yeah.
They have a false gospel, and it's the gospel of the state will save you.
And priestess Kami priestess.
Yeah, she's the priestess of that gospel. And she came and she preached it. She says, we demand this bill be passed. This is our good news. Yeah. This is our gospel. We're going to pass a bill, and Joe Biden will sign it.
Yeah. I'll make sure of it, because he don't know what he's signing.
No, but
I'll hold his hand.
And that's the difference between you and them. Because you're absolutely right. If it's my funeral, if it's Gabe's funeral, if it's my wife's funeral, somebody that I love, someone dear to me, my son's funeral, yes. You asked me earlier, what would I preach?
Yeah,
and I said my thought is Colossians 2. I would preach the end of all enmity in the cross of Jesus, because that's what happened, and they think the end of all the enmity is in passing a bill signed by Joe Biden, and it's just completely empty.
Yeah.
They have nothing.
That's what hurts about watching this.
They have absolutely nothing. They're crying out to a God that cannot save.
Yeah.
and will give them no peace, and they're going to go away from this with no comfort at all, and they're going to be still just churning with resentment and bitterness and enmity. And so that's why they want me to preach this funeral. I walk in and I preach Jesus crucified as the end of all bitterness, all envy, all resentment. And I think of our land, and I think particularly as it comes to police, civilian relations, as it comes to racial interaction and so forth, we are poisoned with we're snake bit. Yep. We're snake bit. And what Jesus says in the Gospels is that he, like the brown serpent in the wilderness, if he is lifted up, he's going to draw people to himself. Yeah. Like the serpent who healed all the snake-bit Israelites in the wilderness in Numbers 21. And I think that's what every gospel preacher has to do. But I think sort of the more intense the situation, the more bitterness, the more resentment, the more animosity, the more enmity that there is. I think it's more incumbent upon the preacher to preach a bloody cross where all our enmity, all our anger, all our rage, all our lust, all our envy and jealousy dies. That's what I would preach.
Wow.
Mark Houck coming up.
Yeah.
Thomas More Society's getting some victories. Yeah.
That's your people, huh?
Yeah.
Y'all shared a jail cell together? Is that
not with him.
Oh, not with him.
No.
Probably could have.
But you guys are like this.
Yeah.
Mark Houck coming up next on Cross Politics.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told.
We are Chris and Natalie Carpenter, owners of Story Real Estate, and our team of top agents helps people find homes in Moscow, Idaho, and around the country.
Have you thought about a move? Contact us to get connected with a top agent who shares your values and puts your family first. Or reach out to us about our Moscow relocation guide.
Wherever you're looking to go, we can help you find home. Call us at Story Real Estate or visit us at storyrealestate.com and start building your legacy.
Welcome back to Cross Politic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told. Home is where you prepare to go out into the world. Finding the home that's perfect for your family is a big job. Story Family Real Estate is Moscow, Idaho's top real estate team. I said Moscow. It's Moscow. I don't even know.
How'd that happen?
Here. They give people real estate advice all over the country, though. Family homes, investments, land, new construction, or commercial. They know real estate. If you've thought about a move to Moscow or anywhere in the country, for that matter, reach out and get connected with a Story real estate agent today. Wherever you're going, they can help guide you home. Visit storyrealestate.com. That's storyrealestate.com. We're very grateful to have with us Mr. Mark Houck, pro-life advocate, father, and founder of the King's Men. Mark, thanks for joining us on Cross Politic.
Well, great to be with you, brothers. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you have in common with Gabe, actually, recently being represented by the Thomas More Society. Yeah. You got to recap for us and for our audience what exactly happened. There was some kind of scuffle at a pro-life protest, I think, and then you got raided by the FBI or something.
Yeah, that's the short version. Back in October. Back in October 2021, the 13th of October, was this incident that you alluded to. And basically it involved my son, my 12-year-old son at the time, and how he was being harassed while we were exercising our First Amendment rights, praying in front of an abortion mill. And basically, long story short, the escort that was working as a volunteer would not stop badgering my son. And essentially I just took my fatherly rights and I decided to protect my son. And that's what became the incident that ultimately ended up in federal court with a FACE Act violation, with 2 counts against the FACE Act, with 11 years and facing 11 years in prison, $350,000 in fine, and 3 years probation.
When you say badgering your son, what was he saying?
Sure. So it's not the first time my son's been at a vigil with me, a pro-life vigil. And so probably his 40th or 50th time at this point when this incident occurred. So he has had prior encounters. I think he taught my son the F word. He's a homeschool kid. And he never heard that word before till he started coming with me to vigils. But, we worked through it. On this particular day, he was invading his personal space and basically talking to him about me. So just picture, your 12-year-old boy being harassed and now he's being told different things about his father that of course he does not believe, but that is trying to be, put into his mind about how his dad hurts women, how his dad doesn't help women, doesn't protect women, and all the things that are opposite to what he knows to be true. And so that was some of the things that he was sharing that day with me.
So like watching Disney. Got it.
I'm following. It took me a second when you said that.
G-rated,
I was like, I see. Okay.
But not G-rated.
Right, not G-rated. I got
Mark
it.
only pushed him. I mean, I would have punched the dude in the face doing that. Mark just pushed him, and that was it. You had restraint, man.
So Mark,
there was some forbearance.
So this incident happens October 13th, you said? And then when
2021.
Yeah. So then what happened immediately after that? Did you get arrested then? Was there somebody a knock at your door saying, hey, somebody's pressing charges against you? Walk us up to the rest of the story. What happened?
Yeah, sure. So after that incident, my son and I actually stuck around. We went, we prayed at a local church, Catholic church there, and had some lunch together. Came back and gave a statement to the Philadelphia Police Department. Essentially, they said they're not interested. But he may press charges against you, fine. So about a month or two later, he does file a private criminal complaint, which is nothing more than one citizen going after another citizen. It doesn't involve the authorities in any way. It just puts you into a court hearing situation. And we did that. We tried to mediate that with him. He wasn't interested in mediation. And then he basically couldn't be bothered to show up for court. So after about 4 court appearances, it was dismissed on April 22nd, 2022.
Okay. So you had to show up
later.
You had to show up to all 4 court appearances, and he didn't show up to any of those 4 court appearances?
He showed up to two of the 4, but the 2 critical ones he did not show up for.
Okay. And then keep going. You said 5 days.
So 5 days later, 5 days later, April 27th, I'm back at my post prayer vigil, and I get served by a Department of Justice representative with saying I'm a target of a federal grand jury investigation. And that basically began the journey. I had Thomas More Society already representing me. Matt Heffron, who you probably know, former federal prosecutor, called the DOJ and said, hey, you have no case. There's case law against this in your own district. My client's innocent. But if you want to indict him, no need to bring an agent out to his house. He's a peaceful man. We'll bring him in to you.
Yeah.
And that was April 27th. The next time I heard from the DOJ was September 23rd, as when they're banging on my door at 6:45 in the morning.
Wait. So
incredible.
You don't hear anything from them until September, and then they're banging on your door at 6:45 in the morning?
That's right. So actually, as of August of 2022, my own attorney contacted me and said, have you heard from them? And I said, I haven't heard from them. And he said, neither have I. And we both thought it was just a dead case. She said the assistant U.S. attorney won't return my phone calls. So yeah, by that point at 6:45 in the morning, I wasn't expecting to hear anything from the FBI. I was getting up, ready to go to co-op with my children for their homeschool. And I had a quiche in the oven. So tells you I wasn't prepared. Right. Real men eat quiche.
Who was politically behind that then? That had to be a political, someone politically behind that had to make that happen.
Sure. So, look, I don't know all the exact details. I can only speculate like you.
Right.
But let's look at the history. The Dobbs case is ruled upon in June. We overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yep.
President Joe Biden makes an announcement in Philadelphia at Independence Hall that he is going to protect the rights of abortion and that he's vowing to do that to his constituency. And then a series of arrests start to take place against pro-life people. And of course, mine was just one of 26 arrests that took place in 2022.
Wow.
Okay.
Can you describe what it was like that morning? So, I mean, they're banging on your door. You got quiche in the oven for some reason. But what happens? I mean, how many agents are there? Is it just one guy? Is it 10? Are they surrounding your house? I mean, what is it like? What happens?
Right. So I was up at 6:30 and it was a little before 7 in the morning. It's still dark at this time in Pennsylvania where we are. And it's cold fall morning. Bang on the door, very, very heavy banging and ringing of the doorbell. Now, in Idaho or Texas, when people do that at that hour, you probably go to your door with your gun in your hand.
Facts.
They didn't even declare. Yeah, they didn't even declare who they were. They just said, "Open up." They didn't even announce it was the FBI. And I said, "Well, who is it?" Clearly now my children are getting alarmed. My wife's awake, and they said it's the FBI. And they banged again. Open up. So I said, "All right, stay calm. I'm gonna open the door." But please stay calm. I have 7 babies in this house. Please stay calm. So as I opened the door, I showed them my hands, and then it was a circus. What I saw were federal agents on my porch, at least 15 marked and unmarked units in my driveway, about 100 yards leading all the way out to my road. And they're surrounding my house with their vehicles. My little daughter takes note of personnel, SWAT personnel in the back of the house. And I have 5 long M16 guns pointed at me, ballistic shields, ballistic helmets, battering rams. And this is the scene that I have. All the sirens are going off, and all the PA state troopers that were backing up the FBI that day were behind their doors, aimed at me as I was coming out of the house. Their guns.
You'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to pray? I mean, what's going on? Why are you guys here? I'll pray for you right now." Is that what you want?
Yeah, 20 plus federal agents and PA state troopers. I said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, you know why we're here." And frankly, I didn't know why they were there. I said, "Well, okay, I think you're here because I rescue babies." And then I looked at all of them and I said, "You wouldn't be here if the Trump administration was in the White House."
Oh,
they all kind of put their heads down.
Yeah. Man.
Then my wife came down. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. My wife came down and said, "Do you have a warrant for his arrest?" And they said, "Well, we're taking him with or without a warrant."
What?
So this is the kind of the approach they were taking to me that day.
Oh my goodness.
How can they do that? There's no warrant. How can they arrest you?
Well, they had a warrant, but they didn't care to show it, nor were they even. I don't even think they told me what I was indicted for. They just said we're taking him down to the federal building. So I think eventually they tore off a cover sheet to a warrant arrest, but they weren't really offering much information. I was in shorts, a t-shirt, and flip flops. They wouldn't let me get clothing on. They wouldn't let me put socks on. They wouldn't let me put some deodorant on. They wouldn't let me say goodbye to my children. When an agent comes to your house, if you're a drug lord or a gangbanger, or you're even someone who's committed a murder, usually they'll come to your door with 1 or 2 federal agents and say, "We're here, for so and so. Finish up your coffee, pack your bag. We're going downtown."
Right.
And that's pretty much how it's done. Pretty standard in the Eastern District where I live.
Well, I think the problem is that the drug dealers probably aren't a danger to them at the end of the day as much as a guy who's trying to save lives of babies. Right?
Yeah.
That's got to be way more dangerous to the administration.
He's interrupting their child sacrifice.
Exactly.
I mean, he's interrupting the worship of their gods.
And the other side is just wishing they got tax money on the drugs.
So we had the other gentleman on in Tennessee who had the similar situation that you did. They rolled up at his house
with the same thing.
They had FBI. Pardon me.
What's his name?
Paul Vaughn.
Yeah, Paul Vaughn. Yeah. We had him on the show, and kind of goes back to politically, this has got to be coming from Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. I mean, it has to be coming from that high because they're going after all these pro-lifers throughout these various states. It's not just some state political leader in Pennsylvania. It has to be way higher than that.
Right. It's the FBI.
So, Mark, I got to know what happens now. So what happened to the rest of your case? What's the end result of it, and what are your next steps?
Sure. So after I was arrested, first of all, I went down to the federal building and they chained me like an animal. I was belly shackled, ankle shackles, feet shackles, and I was chained to a table for 6 hours in a small room, a white room with nothing but a table. So for 6 hours, I was all chained up. And I'm apparently innocent till proven guilty, but I didn't seem that way.
Right.
So they did a preliminary hearing at the courthouse that day just to set me free, to be reunited with my family. And then we had arraignment 5 days later, I think, whereby we declared our innocence and declared not guilty, and a trial date was set January 24th. So as of today, a week ago, the trial just concluded with a not guilty verdict. So as you can imagine, it was quite a journey to that point.
Wow.
But we were successful, and now there's case law to help pro-lifers. But all the journey in between was quite a journey of faith, and whatever you want to ask me, I can answer. But nonetheless, it was as painful as it sounds, and the full force of the government. They have a 98% conviction rate whenever the federal government comes after you. So most people don't win against the government. So it's pretty incredible, pretty miraculous what happened.
Can you sue? What how can you punitively get them?
Yeah, so I was just invited to be at the State of the Union tomorrow with my wife by the Freedom Caucus chairman, Congressman Scott Perry, former brigadier general.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of talking to the judiciary, the subcommittee that was set up to investigate the weaponization of the FBI and the Justice Department. And so I will be having an interview with them on the 22nd, and hopefully that will bring us to a testimonial before the subcommittee, which will consist of both Democrat and Republican. So I'm sure it won't be a pleasant experience, but an experience that needs to be heard. We will go after the DOJ. We will sue. There is some exposure there. There is a lot of immunity with the government. Prosecutors have immunity. But when they come after you, they have a discriminatory viewpoint against you or your family, which we can make that case. And we were going to come in peacefully. There was no reason to use taxpayer money to do this. There was no reason to be an act of terror against my family and be so reckless. I think there's going to be some exposure there. And if we get the right civil rights attorney, I think we'll be successful.
Mark, you stay right there. We're going to talk to you in just a second on Backstage. So if you're going on YouTube, you want to go backstage, you got to go to the website and meet us back there. So if you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politics.
Incredible.
When the sun shines high, Christmas lights are unneeded. In the darkness of winter, Christmas lights and Christmas joy are bright and loud and beautiful. And needed. It has always been this way. As easy as it may be to imagine the first Christmas through a sparkly and sentimental lens, with some Unitarian ministress plinking trite melodies on the piano's most annoying keys, to imagine a beloved young bride holding a fat-cheeked son as her gentle husband gazes on in adoration, the truth is nothing like a tidy stable set in a northern European snow globe. It is nothing like any nativity scene ever sold. The truth involves more struggle, more darkness, more oppression, more grief. The truth is a scandalous young woman sweating and groaning and straining while her older, angel-scolded husband plays clumsy midwife with hard, calloused, unclean, and splintered hands. The truth is a cave stable smelling of afterbirth and blood and manure. The truth is an exhausted virgin mother surviving her ordeal only to have her crude sanctuary invaded by coarse men from the fields, come to rouse her. Strangers smelling of sheep barging into her makeshift birthing room on the invitation of angels to gape at her blood, the gore of her battle, her baby. The truth is genocide, the slaughter of innocents, Egyptian exile, wandering wizards, and somehow, against all odds, joy, the joy that would change everything. As you hang your lights in these dark days, as you decorate your tree and wrap undeserved gifts for those you love, remember that what you do is rebellion. Rebellion against the darkness, against joyless despair, against the slaughter of innocents, the oppression of tyrants, and the folly of bureaucrats. That is what Christmas is, and what it always has been. Joy shines brightest in darkness, and the darkness is shattered. Joy always wins. In these darkening times, may your joy be an eruption. May your Christmas cheer burn unquenchably bright. May you be raucous and bold and overflowing in your giving, never sour in your embrace of abstract truths. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called. Merry Christmas from New St. Andrews College. This season, erupt.
One world order, plandemics, food shortages. What does the church do in times of chaos and destruction? We build. KingdomCome.io is an invite-only collaboration network connecting skilled Christians across every industry and around the world. Join a private network of unashamedly Christian founders and engineers, investors and lawyers, artists and farmers, anyone with the skill to share and faith like a mustard seed, collaborating on side projects and new businesses that conquer the world for Christ. Apply to our waitlist today at KingdomCome.io. That's KingdomCome.io.